cloudy Thursday, and it's cloudy all over the city of Chicago. Do you hear me? When I mean cloudy, it's cloudy. There's a serious migrant crisis that's here in the city of Chicago. Yeah, you have migrants at this time being shot by citizens in the city. Why is that, Mo? Just from my standpoint, keeping my ear to the street from people that I know, people that I observe, watch, and sometimes ear hustle. These migrants are being shot because of all of the advantages that they're getting, while people who have been here are being denied. All of this falls on you, Brandon Johnson. The 25-year-old man shot 2 immigrants. One in the buttocks and one in the thigh. They say that the man was drunk after he ran into a police car with his car, because the police had chased him. After that, he shot these migrants. But these migrants would not be shot had it not been for the influx of immigrants taking over. The immigrant invasion is causing mad problems in the city. And according to the streets, and I want you all to get this to Mayor Brandon Johnson, however you all get it to him, the word on the street in the city of Chicago is that it's going to be more migrant victims being shot. Yeah. You think about that, Mayor Brandon Johnson. You say that you just had a budget where you're trying to close a $538 million gap for the city, yet you're doing nothing about it. Now, according to your spokesperson, she say that this new city plan and this gap that you're trying to fill is supposedly a down payment on all of those lies that you told the people when they elected you to get into office. That's 100. You have those mothers and residents that's in South Shore, that was a tongue twister. You have all of those mothers and residents that's in South Shore, on the south side of Chicago here, that is crying, that has cried for your help. You even got Frank Avila, an attorney that is helping these residents file a lawsuit against the city of Chicago. You have immigrants that is sleeping all in public buildings. You have immigrants sleeping on the floors of the police station. You have immigrants on the south side of Chicago lined up in tents. You know, like they got them in LA? The city of Chicago on the south side is beginning to look just like that. What are you going to do about that, Brandon Johnson? What are you going to do about all of these immigrants who may end up DEAD? Black folks out here starving. Black folks are out here starving. You have immigrants that are living in residential housing. You got a big problem, Brandon Johnson. And you know that these young boys ain't playing out here. In fact, about it, some of these young boys' mothers are the very same mothers who's crying to you for help, because they know what's going to take place. They know what's going to take place. And this falls on your watch. Brandon Johnson, the city is about to explode. While you got your finger up your ass, the city is about to explode. And you're going to have dead migrants everywhere. Everywhere. There are over 18,000 migrants right now. All downtown. All in public housing. All in police stations. All set up on tents. In tents. You're cutting budgets. You're cutting budgets. Yet you lied to the people when you got in the office in the first place. When you knew that you couldn't make those changes, then they dumped this on you. It's just not New York City. It's Chicago too. And these people are MAD. I'm not going to even call you a mayor. I'm not going to call you a mayor, man. Right now, you's a bum. Right now, you's a bum, man. And these people are placing all of this on your head. You are the mayor. You wanted this position, right? You want it to be the big nigger in charge. Well, you got it. You got a whole lot of problems with it. But you need to act fast, Mr. Brandon Johnson. You need to act fast. You think that you've seen these black people kill black people over the holiday weekend and all of this stuff during the summer? Keep playing. Keep playing, and you're going to find a lot of dead bodies on your streets that's immigrants. What are they to do? What are they to do? You know it's going to be a problem. You even have immigrants that has taken veteran housing in the city of Chicago. How do you think veterans feel about you, Mr. Brandon Johnson? Can't even call you a mayor once again. People are very tight here in the city. And I tell you, it's going to erupt. Keep playing, Brandon Johnson. You say that your backup plan is to do what Lori Lightfoot, the former mayor, wanted to do. And now you want to implement some of what she was trying to do. It's going to be too late. You can't even assert your own promises that you told the people that you were going to give them when they elected you. Now they're being shot. I'm just saying. Crazy, right? Brandon Johnson. And they're filing a lawsuit against the city. They're filing a lawsuit against the city. Yeah, Frank Avila, you know that attorney. He ain't playing with all of those South Shore residents. South Shore residents want that high school back. You place immigrants in that high school. They've closed all of these high schools in a predominantly black neighborhood. These kids have nowhere to go. You've taken their recreational places. Yet you say that you're going to add $28,000 summer jobs. Summer jobs? Did you say summer jobs? How many months is that away? That don't start till June of next year. What about the other 8 months? 9 months? What about them months there? You need to act fast, man. The city is going to explode. And the police are not going to be able to handle all of these jurisdictions when it goes up. You know that, and I know that. You think that those young people came and made all of those mass disruptions downtown when they broke in stores, stepping on people's cars and all of this and that stuff like that? Man, they talking about doing worse. This is the word on the street. This ain't my word. This is not my word. This is not my word. Let's get that understood. This is the word of the people that is on the streets, man. I'm just saying. As I stated to you, those very same people, those mothers that's crying out there, their sons are the ones that's out here killing people. Yeah, the gangbangers. You even got women being beaten to death in the city of Chicago, broad daylight, beaten to death. You have men beaten to death on the west side, which is over here on Diversity, right off of Central. Men beaten to death in broad daylight. All of this falls on your watch, Brandon Johnson. What are you going to do about it? If not, I'm sure that maybe the governor is going to have to employ the National Guards. This is what these people are telling you, man. But you ain't listening. And for you, the people that's out there in the world that don't live in Chicago, Chicago residents, you know, those little boys with the big gym shoes, they are not playing. That's word on the street. That is not Mo's word. That is word on the street. And if you know anything about the streets, Brandon Johnson, you know that it will occur because it already has occurred a couple of days ago. Then you got the immigrants that's selling dope, that's riding around with $5,000 in their car. Prime example of this, you have the Venezuelans, one male, one female. Scratch that. two Venezuelans. Keep it that way, okay? One lives at this immigrant facility that's downtown in the Loop, and the other one lives some other way in another immigrant facility. Needless to say, they was in a car. They got pulled over by the cops. The cops found over 3 ounces of weed and over $5,000. They don't have no driver's license or nothing. And one of them is already fighting the case here in Chicago. He hit a server at a restaurant at Lakeside Cafe, hit her in the face with a bottle. He was already fighting that case before the police took them in for the driving without the license, for the weed and the money. Sounds like another Scarface to me. And that's going to be happening all over. You know how when they brought them Cubans over into Florida, and that's how Scarface got his start, right? Look what's happening to the immigrants that you're bringing into the city. It's making the city worse. In fact, I'm sorry, you're not bringing this. You're not bringing the people into the city. The people are just being coming in busloads, dumped off into the city. But you're responsible. How can you sleep at night, man? You don't see nothing wrong with this? There's no immediate plan of action that you can take? You're going to take from the communities that has been deprived for decades and place them under the bus more? Come on, man. It's not looking good for you. And it's not looking good for those immigrants that's coming in the city of Chicago. It is not looking good. And if you just stay tuned to what's happening in Chicago, pretty soon you're going to have the immigrants carrying guns, shooting people, the residents here in Chicago. It's like it's an inside war that they made. They knew, the powers that be knew, when you put poor people from another country on top of poor people that's already here, and you're going to give those poor people who just got here everything that these other poor people who've been here historically, and you're not giving them nothing, what do you think is going to happen? Stop playing, Brandon Johnson. Stop playing. You got people, families here that have lived here for decades, and they're being invaded. And they didn't even have a choice in the matter. You didn't even tell the people what you were doing and where you was placing these people. Like I said, you even have your police departments that's unsanitary now. Do you think that your police, whom you are the chief of in the city, wants to see immigrants laying on the floor of the police stations, in public buildings, in residential? Like I said, they're in residential housing, people. That's the facts, Jack. You need to act fast, Brandon Johnson, or you're going to have a real city explosion on your hands before Christmas. Thanks for viewing, you all. It's your brother, the MOSHOW Chicago, where knowledge is power. It is your third eye that makes you shine like jewelry. If you haven't done so already, press the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so that you can get all the new videos that I upload on YOUTUBE. Also, press those condiments to like and to share. Share the information with relatives, friends, co-workers, anyone that you come into contact with. It is a magnificent way to jumpstart your conversation on Brandon Johnson, the residents of the City of Chicago lawsuit, and immigrants being shot in Chicago. Will your city be next? Never ever give up on your dreams, and remember that black on black crime is a felony. Peace out.